Hello and welcome to Oracle Storytelling. I am Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts. Here are some of my arts. And I also paint magic wood, usually smaller pieces, like pieces like this hasn't been painted yet. But I do have some bigger staff pieces, like this. And I am loving that I usually don't get to sit and record in lovely natural light. So I am just loving how this feels right now. It's tripping me out though, because it looks like how it's recording, it's like saturating. It's also almost making like all the colors like super neon behind me. But regardless, hi, how are you? This is the Oracle Storytelling Creativity Edition, brought to you by me, this magic wood, a few awesome books by awesome authors, one archetypal deck, one tarot deck, and a bag of charms. So, yeah, I say Creativity Edition because I want to bring in that energy of creativity, that energy of fueling that power, that amazing power into expression from yourself, instead of storing that and feeling frustrated or confused or angry. So this is about, positive messages. And actually, what I want to do, I think what I'd like to do is to start, if anyone has something on their mind, a question that keeps popping in their head, whatever it may be, kind of keep that in mind. And I'm going to draw a card to start, and then I'll kind of show it at the end, and just kind of remember what you were thinking about. Or as I read the two passages in the book, if something comes to mind, keep that in mind. If something comes out like, oh, there's a little aha about something that's been going on with you, just keep that in mind, because at the end I'll go ahead and I'll flip over a card, whatever card it is, and ask you to relate it to something that's going on in your life. Did that make sense? Was it too creative for you? But I'm gonna go ahead and just choose a card right now that we can talk about at the end that will hopefully support whatever's on your mind. Okay? Okay. So I don't know what it is. I'm not going to look yet, but just this card here. We'll set it aside. And so I chose two books, and I chose cards. So the idea is kind of what stories are we telling ourselves right now? How can we kind of lift ourselves out of whatever stories are going on? That's basically what I was thinking when I was choosing. So let's see what story. The first story that we can kind of lift ourselves out of or be inspired by, because I don't know what it is yet. Okay, first story. Shedding a Skin, Vitiligo. The reading. Carolyn, age 55, seemed like a person of tremendous strength. A real powerhouse who liked to go out in the world and accomplish great things. Yet, I could see that, for some reason, she wasn't able to do that much anymore. Okay. I can already see why this is coming up. Obviously, there's a lot of feelings of that going around about like, we can take on the world, suddenly we can't take on the world, or that kind of feeling like we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, I think is kind of part of that in the collective consciousness right now. Her ability to accomplish in the outer world was diminished, and I could sense a great deal of disappointment in her. So yeah, exactly what I was just saying. I could see someone near her who was sad and depressed. I think there's a lot of sadness and depression coming up right now, right? That we're all trying to integrate at the pace that we're comfortable doing it. So I could see someone near her who was sad and depressed. She wanted to teach him to focus on something other than his depression, but she wasn't able to do that. I think a lot of us are like that, right? A lot of people feel like they want to be doing more, they want to be able to support others more, right? Her challenge was to know that she couldn't snap this person out of his problem. She couldn't teach him to look at life differently, even though she herself had developed the skills to do just that over the course of her life, and now even taught others such skills in the course of her work. Yeah, so, I mean, I think a lot of these themes are coming up. So if you're like Carolyn, age 55 or any other age, and you're feeling like you're not doing enough for yourself or for someone else in the, as they say, accomplishing in the outer world, maybe this is speaking to you, and that kind of sense of what's coming up for me is that sense of feeling trapped by this notion that you need to be accomplishing more, that you need to be doing more, and then also, what also comes up for me is the feeling of like wanting to help someone else with their sadness or depression, and neglecting your own sadness or depression. In some cases, I mean, I know that can work to focus your attention on service, on helping others. But when you have, if you're really depressed and you're trying to help someone else who's depressed, you're just neglecting your own self-care. You're kind of just neglecting those aspects of self. If you're depressed and you're doing an act of service for someone, that's maybe just like, picking up groceries for them, taking to their home or whatever it may be, that's different. That's getting your mind to a different place, shifting to a larger world perspective. And so let's see the card. The card that I drew, the archetype that I drew was a child archetype, the nature child. The light attributes are friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. So I'm going to just take it as the positive and say that this is a really good way to get yourself in a better mind frame if you're having those feelings that you're not doing enough, or you're trying to fix your own sadness or depression or feeling of lack, like you're not accomplishing, doing these things that that you've decided were destined to be done, and you're like living out the wrong timeline. So I'm going to say this is how you lift yourself out of that. And what I'm really getting from this is, so child, right? Children, just the perspective of a child. Most of us are going to grow a fair amount in height. from when we're young, and our perspective just in the way we look at the world. Our natural companions are, in terms of height and awareness of what we see and others see, like, smaller animals. We could be just above a dog's height and we could be like, yeah, I get what that dog's looking at, because I'm looking about the same thing too. We're intrigued by nature. We're intrigued by the things that we can reach and get to and find, in our smaller bodies. There's in nature, we have so much access. And if we're feeling like, oh, I don't have, I'm not accomplishing enough, I don't have enough, it's this idea of like having access to, not even having access, it's the idea of what we don't have access to versus what we do. We live in a natural world. We all share one earth. The earth is out there. If we are able to, able-bodied to, able to access nature, physically, fantastic. If you take a walk through nature, if you're in that fresher oxygen, if you're in that different perspective, if you're taking in, a small park or a large park, or, walking down a street where there's so many, maybe there's just, I don't know, a lot more trees or whatever it is, sitting in your backyard and taking in, like a family of squirrels, or right now, all the birds that are, or bunnies, if you have bunnies in your yard. But your perspective, your perspective shifts, your nervous system is going to calm, your cellular body is going to be in a happier place, what is that, Lao-Tzu? Is it Lao-Tzu? Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Bam! I mean, like, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Have you ever gone into nature and been like, that is incorrect? Like, no, right? Nobody's, probably somebody said it, but I don't think we're walking around going, tree, no, not that branch, there is a freedom in that, the worst thing we can do is compare ourselves to like a beautiful tree, and then we're feeling awesome like a beautiful tree. So if you're kind of feeling like you weren't doing enough, of really what that is, it's like, are you not doing enough, or doing enough of the right things, because we can do things. Absolutely. And we have, that's a great thing about, we have we have this passion, we have this drive. So that's another great thing about being creative, is I lost my train of thought. I started thinking about something else. I started thinking about, I went like this, and I remembered I put on some perfume, and just doing simple things. Like, I put on a necklace. I don't wear jewelry anymore. I'm out in the world. I'm working. I'm not wearing jewelry. I'm not, I don't have my hair down. I don't, a lot of things that, that I would do that I'm just not doing right now, except in nature. Nature is super freeing. If I'm out in nature, I've got jewelry on. I've got my hair down. You can't tell me nothing. I am feeling great. I'm feeling great. So that's the first message, okay? Second message, let's see. And I just want to say, it's so interesting. I noticed that the colors on the cards actually green and green, and the next one is black. It's black and black cards, which I point that out because it's just those beautiful synchronicities of like, yeah, this is a good pairing. So let's see what other perspective we either need to shift out of or into, and let's see. Asking and receiving spirit. Already I feel like you know if this is like a message for you or not. Divination, love. Divination is the art of consulting the divine to ask for guidance and interpret signs. Channeling is the art of offering oneself to become a vessel for spirit to communicate through. Shamanic journeying is the practice of interdimensional soul travel. As you explore various methods of channeling and divination, some will feel right to you and others will not resonate at all. Fact. Also, certain gifts can come and go at different stages of life. Of course. And we know that just as a natural part of life, regardless of if you have done interdimensional travel or, done any channeling, like we know things come and go, right? Things enter our lives, and we use them in their tools and they work for us regardless of what they are, and they exit our lives. So that's, if this is throwing you off, just do a little interpretation here. Some will feel right to you and some will not resonate at all. Also, certain gifts can come and go at different stages of life. Honor the magical visionary practices and tools that do activate your abilities at present. So if you don't feel particularly magical right now, feel magical. No, but so honor the magical visionary tools and practices that do activate your abilities in the present. So honor the things that light you up. Okay, think of it that way. Honor the things that light you up. Explore as many different methods as you like, so long as there is an attractive and positive vibration associated with the experience. That light you up. There's an attractive and positive vibration associated with the experience. These kinds of practices can include, but are not limited to, card reading, love. I love tarot so much because I love art so much. It's a large part why I love this tool so much. I need to get an oracle deck together. It will look very similar to these pieces, by the way. So these kind of practices can include, but are not limited to, card reading, palmistry, scrying, dowsing, automatic writing, reading tea leaves or coffee grounds, shamanic journeying, astral projection, past life regression, Akashic record work, dream work, pendulum work, throwing the I Ching, astrology, and numerology. Used correctly, all of these various arts give the practitioner a helpful wisdom perspective through which to view the spiritual path. So to kind of just reinterpret that for someone who maybe has not done a lot of these things, you can look at, a lot. Let's see. Maybe a lot of you have done these things. I've done a fair amount of these. When it says use correctly, all of these arts give the practitioner helpful wisdom perspective through which to view the spiritual path. So I'm going to interpret used correctly because I'm all about use your intuition. Your intuition is your own. Trust what's coming from the place that you find that leads you to where you feel aligned and good and balanced and however else words come up for you. So use correctly, I feel like use with your intuition in mind. For example, like I use Oracle and Tarot a lot, but I can get as creative and wild doing card draws for myself or especially with other people. I mean, it can just be a whole storytelling event while just connecting on different through different clairs or through different I won't get into that, but So, yeah. So a helpful, and I'm going to say healthy wisdom perspective to view the spiritual path. So to view your path, to view where you're at, where you're headed. And I mean that in terms of like where you're headed in the next 5 minutes, where you're headed for the rest of, the hour, mentally, physically. Oh yeah. So see the cards. So got 2 came out. I love that, like, it's all black. This was all black. The other one was all green. I forgot the color green for a second. So interesting. So where's the line in here? It was talking about explore as many different methods as you like, so long as there is an attractive and positive vibration associated with the experience. So with that in mind, explore all these options as long as there's a positive and attractive vibration. And I thought it was such a trip when I read that right now, because I have Don Juan and Femme Fatale. I mean, what a pairing. And there is a lot about, attractive vibration, right? But in a very loving way and in a very powerful way. Using your intuition, using the tools you have innately within yourself, maybe expressed through, as they're mentioning, like these visual aid tools. Very, very powerful. So Don Juan and Femme Fatale. Don Juan spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. Femme Fatale highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Absolutely. So, positivity. Opening your heart. When you open your heart, you are receiving. That makes sense, right? You open your heart up. When your heart, people say, oh, your heart is closed, or some interpretation of that. When your heart is open, you know how that feels. You don't feel, when your heart's open and you feel open to a person or the world or taking a walk through nature, you feel just open to, the environment. There's something that, you are connected. You are connected. You're not in a state of this, extreme worry or exhaustion. Your heart is open, and you're connecting to something. You're connecting to something that I don't want to say is like larger than yourself or more than yourself, but it's connected to you. So if you feel, isolated right now, and you're thinking, well, I don't have, I'm not connected enough, or I'm not doing enough connecting, or maybe you're like, I'm not doing enough connecting, like that. You can still open your heart. You can open your heart to yourself and the things that you're doing. You can open your heart to that instinct in yourself. And the tools that they listed, that long line of tools, I mean, maybe you don't want to do shamanic journeys, but maybe you do a guided meditation. You could just Google that on YouTube, or you could do heart-centered meditations. And there's just a feeling, I'm trying to describe it, but when you do such activities, there is a connection, because there's this, you're trusting yourself, you're validating yourself, but it's more than that. You do feel connected. Even if you've been isolating, sheltering in place by yourself for like a month or 2 months, there's still these feelings whenever your heart is open, and opens your heart when your dependency is rejected, the idea that, we need to be doing certain things, or there are certain things that we need to get and own and take in and surround ourselves with. When we drop that dependency and we look at what an honor it is to take care of ourselves, that we get to be the person that cares for ourselves, that gives ourselves all of the care and listening and love and understanding, way more than anyone else has ever given you before, that possibility, or if you've lost someone, and you feel like, oh, that person gave me all those things, like, you can still do that for yourself, and you can do it in ways where there's just that sense of, I think there's just a point where, when you have faith in yourself, you are just connected to everything. It just happens. I keep trying to dance around how to describe it, but it is really like a beautiful felt experience or seen experience. And we all know what that is. So, another aspect of, so positive seductive qualities, it's this, the positive attraction to the things that make us feel positive, right? As opposed to negative attraction when we're, in someone's or some activity's orbit. If we hear ourselves communicating in a way that's really not authentic to ourselves, that just diminishes how we feel, let's see. I don't need to read the shadows on these. But so asking and receiving spirit. And if spirit is too strong of a word for you, or you don't understand how to translate that, asking and receiving from yourself. I mean, there's an endless way, and it's throughout a lifetime that you can be there for yourself. You're always going to have new opportunities, and it is an honor to take care of yourself. It really is. And connect with yourself. And it's just the craziest thing, as I know so many people know, and everyone knows in their lifetime, of, when you really honor yourself and connect with yourself, it is a trip how connected you feel with everyone around you. And that is confirmation. You did not hear it, but there's confirmation. I just got a ding, 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 ding. I don't know, somebody tapping on a bowl next door or something. But that's confirmation. So whoever needed to hear that. All right, well, let's see what this card is. I don't know. I just thought all black, and I don't know why. So let's see. Oh, okay. All right, isn't that beautiful? So if anything came to mind before I was reading or while I was reading, let this card be part of an uplifting, supportive answer. And I'm not gonna read the book. I'm just gonna kind of look at the card and say what I see. I see a helpfulness. I see relaxation. I see someone who's being supported. I see ideas manifesting. It's hard to see a fish on a card and not think of all the beautiful Pisces in my life. I can't shake a Pisces. Once you're in, you're just in for life. So I think of all my beautiful Pisces. So I think of all the Pisceans that I love, including my mother, who, I miss dearly, and I would love to see right now. We'd all love to see somebody, close to us that we're going to have to wait to see. But I see a lot of, manifesting. And, to me, if I'm looking at this and I'm thinking of this as my Pisceans, my people who have been there for me in so many ways, all this beautiful support, getting the support that, let's say getting the support you need to be able to just, doesn't she look relaxed? And isn't this, it doesn't look like it's not even effort. It's just like allowing this to happen, allowing all these new aspects of support to come. So I feel like here are some past tools that maybe, I was using, you were using. This is a time of a little more stillness, and the people that are there for us, we're, leaning on them. And then when things start to shift and change, we all have changes that are, we're going through, or things we need to accomplish right now. And it's like, just let these things happen, know that there's going to be these supportive tools, coming very soon. And I feel like, if I were to like awake, as soon as we kind of awaken to those, let's say there's a shift in like, where you live in the next month. Imagine like you're waking up to the reality of like a month from now, and you're standing up, and then if you're standing up, you're awake, and all of these new tools are right within your reach, all these supportive tools. So that's how I'm looking at it. I've been getting this card a lot lately, so I hope that it's not just for myself, but also for like the collective feelings right now. And if you know tarot, you can interpret it as a major arcana, but I just kind of wanted to look at it as that today. And then I'm just going to draw one little charm to end on. Oh my gosh, my friend put a bow on it. She's using charms with her last. Lorette, you put a bow on this bag. I'm going to draw a little charm. So here's a little bag, and here are some charms. There are some charms. Oh my god, one fell out. Okay, well, I'll draw another one, but this just fell out naturally, the number 5. So, well, the lunar eclipse is on the 5th of June, so that's coming up. That's going to be a nice, powerful day coming up. Also, 5 could be significant to you. My Pisceans, one of them, their lucky number is 5. And thinking about it, I think the other one, another friend of mine, I think his lucky number is always 3. I've been an even-numbered person, so I just think about these things. But 5 might be very significant to you. And let me just grab another one. Ooh, that fell out too. Okay. This just dropped out too, so yay, fairies. Fairies makes me think of nature. It makes me think of that first card where it's kind of encouraging you to shift your perspective and engage with nature. And also, right before I started, sometimes I'll, besides putting on a little makeup or jewelry, put on a little perfume from, that's called Fairy Dance, from a store that is now temporarily closed, that has a freaking apothecary in it, which I always thought was super cool to say. They have like an apothecary. So here's a little fairy. So I think of that, you can think of as nature spirit, or whatever really comes to mind for you. Maybe gold, the vibration, this high vibration of gold is coming to mind. And then those 2 fell out, but this one I drew out, which is a little ballerina costume. And maybe you don't see a ballerina costume. Maybe you see a fan. Maybe you see whatever you see, and that is correct. For me, I'm seeing this little ballerina costume, and what just came to mind is balance. Like the balance between art and perfection. That middle ground is joy. And joy is where you find your freedom. So feeling free in your movements. And free in movements may be a bit triggering to hear right now. So free in your choices. And if that sounds too triggering right now, You have so many choices. You have so much freedom all the time. And if you don't feel that way now, know that everything is constantly changing and things only stay a certain way externally for so long. What stays in a certain context longer can be where your mind is at. So if you stay in a certain mindset, regardless of what goes on around you, your mindset is really going to drive how you see the world, how you interpret the world. Classic quote of Wayne Dyer: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I feel that's super authentic, very true. We're all super powerful, and we have opportunities, big and small, to uplift ourselves and make ourselves, feel that power, feel that love. So, I hope you enjoyed this creativity talk / oracle storytelling. I'm just feeling really great to be able to be surrounded by all this color, even though it's filming as neon. Oh my God, that looks super neon. Anyway, just have a beautiful start to June. Take it easy. We got a lunar eclipse coming in a week. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. Change the way you think that people are, and they will meet you at a different place in conversation. Do some tapping, do some tap dancing, or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe your neighbors are super cool with tap shoes. But love yourself, get some creative energy out, whatever that means. You are innately creative. Interpret that in a way that just really lights you up. Do things that make you feel like crap less. You know what they are. Do them less. Listen to yourself more. You're a genius. Love yourself. You are extremely lovable, and you are loved. Until next time, take care.